Hey everyone, today we are going to be planting some leafy greens. Don't they look wonderful? Let me stoop down so you can see them a little bit better. I just love planting leafy greens at this time of the year because a lot of the insects that usually be out are not as prevalent as they are in the summertime. So I went through and I picked out 6 different varieties of leafy greens that we can plant today. And we are going to be planting these in 2 raised planter containers. Now I went to my local dollar store and I bought a wooden box that I am going to be converting into a planter box. It didn't cost a lot and I'm all about trying to save money. It was so cheap that I said maybe I should go back and get another one because I think it's such a wonderful idea, especially if you don't have a lot of space and you want to plant some things. Now I'm going to be planting some lettuce in this one, but the sky's the limit. You can plant so many different things in this planter box. I think that growing leafy greens is a great way to save money because they are like a gift that keeps on giving. They will give you a continuous harvest of green vegetables that you can have as side dishes for your lunches or your dinners. And just think of all the money that you can save because you don't have to go to the grocery store to buy these things. All of the ones that we are planting today are going to be what we call the cut and come again vegetables, which means that they will give you a continuous harvest of green vegetables to eat. And when I say come and cut again, I mean that you can harvest from them and then come back, let them grow back a little bit and come back and harvest from them again. Now that's one of the containers back there that I'm going to be planting in today. That's a raised garden planter and I have another one just like that one. So I'm going to be planting in that one as well. Okay, now the 6 vegetables, leafy greens that I picked out are spinach, lettuce that's looking a little wilty, bok choy, Swiss chard, collards, and kale. Now I am going to add a starter fertilizer, and I really like using a starter fertilizer whether I'm planting in a flower pot or in a raised container, because I find that it helps the plants to develop a strong root system, especially while they are trying to get their own root system fully developed. I do like to come back and add some worm castings. Now I find that worm castings can really enhance the soil moisture retention. It can give an additional slow release of nutrients like phosphorus and potassium. And I do notice that it does increase microbial activity within the soil. So I like to put that in there and then go back and just kind of mix everything up just to make sure that, you know, the fertilizer and the worm castings are available for all of the plants that are going to be planted in this container. So the first plant is going to be a collard green, and this is a Morris heading collard green, and I'm planting it right at soil level. I did plant some in this container before. They did really well. They are frost tolerant. They can go down to past freezing, but you can cover them with a row cover to help to insulate them and give them some warmth during the wintertime. You do have to worry about the cabbage worm and the cabbage lopper because they will eat holes in the leaves of your collard greens. So now I am going to be planting some spinach in this area here. I do like to utilize the square foot gardening method, which says that you can plant about 9 spinach plants in a 12-foot square. So that's what I'm doing here. Now spinach is cold frost tolerant. Here in zone 8, I don't have any issues with my spinach growing in the cold temperatures of the winter time. But if you live in areas where they have extreme cold or frost, then you can grow them in a cold frame or cover them with some type of protection. And I find that like most of these leafy greens, when they do get hit by or touched by some frost, it seems like it makes them taste sweeter. And you'll notice that when you harvest them, especially if you wait to harvest them after they get touched by your first frost. I think it's very important to regularly harvest your spinach plants, especially from the outer leaves. Leave the central leaves intact, and this will really encourage that spinach plant to grow you some bigger spinach leaves. Now, I am going to be using the square foot garden method again with the Swiss chard. I usually plant about 4 Swiss chard in a square. I am planting these Swiss chards at soil level. As a matter of fact, all the plants that I am planting today are planted at soil level. So I can't wait to come back and show you how well everything is growing. Now I did throw in some bunching onions. I had some red bunching onions and some green bunching onions. I decided to just throw some of those in this container as well. I only had a few of them left and I was trying to figure out where to plant them. So I'm just going to stick some right in this raised garden bed. And then when I get ready to go to plant the other raised garden bed, I will plant some more as well. And I'm really curious about the red bunching onions because, as I mentioned, I've never planted red bunching onions before. And so I can't wait to see what they taste like and what they look like. I'm sure they taste like an onion, but I'm be honest with you, I have never seen a red bunching onion before. Wow, this soil looks so good. I'm doing the same exact thing that I did in the other planter box. I'm adding some fertilizer. I'm adding some worm castings. I'm going to be planting some kale in here, some blue curl scotch kale, just one. Going to be planting some bok choy, and I am going to be planting some lettuce. So I'm just going to mix everything in like I did before. Just play in the soil, enjoy mixing all those good nutrients in that soil. And this is really going to help those plants to get off to a very good start. So I couldn't decide if I wanted to plant my kale plant in the center of the container. I eventually decided to just plant it on the end. Again, I'm planting it at soil levels, and I don't have any problems with any type of pest eating my my kale plant. And as a matter of fact, my kale plant is going to last me all through this fall and winter and right into the spring. Now, as far as the bok choy that I'm going to be planting here, which I'm going to be using the square foot gardening method, I am going to be planting 9 in a square foot. So if I harvest from a few of the plants, then while they're growing back, I can harvest from some of my other bok choy plants. Now, the bok choy is not cold hardy or frost tolerant. It is going to die out when the temperatures get too cold. It will bolt in the springtime when the temperatures start really getting warm and going into the summertime. And it will also bolt in the winter, in the fall, especially if the temperatures drop and it gets cold and then they warm up again, which did have happen last year. It seems like in the wintertime when it was really supposed to be cold, things got warm and then they went back to being cold again. So it really confuses the bok choy and it thinks that it's time for it to go to seed. So it bolts. When I say bolt, I mean that the bok choy is going to send up a long stalk in the center of the plant. It's going to produce some blooms, and the blooms are going to produce seed pods in order to produce seeds. And that's how you can get your seeds in order to plant for your next harvest. I did plant a romaine lettuce blend on the other side of the bok choy, but my camera didn't record it, so I will bring it to you and show it to you later in the video. But in the meantime, in this container here, the crate that I bought from the dollar store, I'm planting some lettuce. Now this is a loose leaf lettuce. This is called a salad bowl. This lettuce does well in the heat, and it's slow to bolt. But now planting it for the fall and the winter, it does well in the fall, but it will not withstand any type of heavy frost. It can take some light frost, but you will have to put it in a cold frame or cover it with some type of covering, and that may prolong it through the winter. But generally speaking, they don't do well with heavy frost. So I am always on the lookout for different ways of planting leafy greens. So please let me know in the comment section below how you're planting leafy greens and what you're going to be planting for the fall. So thanks for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.